Today's title is Love One Another. The verse for today, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Romans chapter 13, verse 8. As Jesus did in the Sermon on the Mount, Paul here amplifies the precepts of the law, showing that love must be the motivating power behind all that we do. Because God's law is a transcript of the character of God, and God is love, to love, therefore, is to fulfill the law. Yet Paul is not substituting some vague standard of law for the precisely detailed precepts of the law as some Christians claim. The moral law is still binding, because again, it is what points out sin. And who's going to deny the reality of sin? However, the law can truly be kept only in the context of love. Remember, some of those who brought Christ to the cross then ran home to keep the law. Interestingly, the factor of love was not the newly introduced principle. By quoting Leviticus 19:18, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself," Paul shows that the principle was an integral part of the Old Testament system. Again, Paul appeals to the Old Testament to support the gospel preaching. Some argue from these texts that Paul is teaching that only the few commandments mentioned here are in effect. If so, does that mean then that Christians can dishonor their parents, worship idols, and have no other gods before the Lord? Of course not. Look at the context here. Paul is dealing with how to relate to one another. He's dealing with a personal relationship, which is why he specifies the commandments that he centers on these relationships. His argument certainly shouldn't be construed as nullifying the rest of the law. Besides, as the New Testament writers points out, by showing love to others, we show our love to God. Think about the relationships with God and how it is reflected in your relationship with others. How big of a factor is love in those relationships? Please answer in the comment section below and hit the like button and have a great day.